Before I get started, let me shout out one of my patrons for sending me this link to this awesome story right here. Shout out to Ann for becoming a patron and also for sending me this story.
So from food, housing, clothing, shelter, all the skills been stripped from us. It's like, damn, I gotta build everything from the fucking floor up.
Digital justice looks like no chains, you know? It looks like giving internet to people. It looks like building networks. That's why I'm doing it.
It said 18 megabits though, so 89. Usually we have to put stuff up on the roof, but these trees are old in the north end. That's been our biggest complication, these like beautiful ass trees. It's good to have trees that show complication. Let's try the front window. This was our first one and it took 3 hours, so our time has been decreasing. I feel like me and my teammate Gabby can get one done in about an hour, honestly. You gotta plan before you leave. We all gotta be aware of like what's going on. Like, are we testing? Are we installing? We gotta communicate. So a few things on paperwork gotta be filled out, a few calls gotta be made, and that's it. It's simple. We found our spot. We're about to install. Took a little minute. Couple windows. We don't have to go to the 3rd level, so we should be good.
I think it's important when you talk about businesses and places and organizations that do things to have a face to it. So for me, this is a beautiful thing to be a part of, because the faces that these people see are the same people who installed it, the same people who are protecting their privacy, the same people who will come back and be like, hey, you have a problem. How do we fix that, you know?
Look around and what you see is decay, but at the same time there's community groups developing. There's a food pantry, you know, the churches are still active in the community. We have an antenna right here, by the way. It's on the back of the house, and another one on the front of this house. We're giving people the internet.
Gabby, why we doing this?
Justice.
If this story right here didn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. I'm going to post the link in the description where it's going to actually have a write-up about what you just saw here, and it's also attached to that link is a longer video that's about 12 minutes. I'm not going to play that one on here. I just wanted to show you this one because it was shorter and I didn't want it to drag all the way out, but you pretty much get the gist of it. I think this is a dope ass move right here. I was reading the article and it was saying how Detroit has one of the biggest telecom divides out of any other city in America, where it says about 40% of the residents does not have access to internet service or Wi-Fi or anything like that, probably not even cable. And here you have this group of individuals who are black, by the way, who took a 20-week course to learn how to install Wi-Fi so people can have internet access and be connected to the world. Because what happened was the big telecom companies that we all know are white owned pretty much deserted Detroit. Like, Detroit has become literally a deserted place within the establishment and has been for a very long time. Like, I bet you once they're finished their gentrification, which I'm very sure Detroit is going through right now, it'll all of a sudden, all those big telecom companies are going to come flourishing right back into those communities where all the white people are. But what I like about this story is because you have a lot of people, a lot of naysayers. Unfortunately, a lot of them are within our own community who say that we don't do enough and we don't do this and we don't do that. Why don't we get off our ass? Basically, they're giving out the typical Caucasian talking point of saying that we're lazy. Well, here you have this group right here who is far from that, and they're not the stereotype. They're going out there into their own communities and they're actually helping them out with a service that they need. Like, nowadays, you really have to have Wi-Fi of some sort or some kind of internet to, you know, be all in know, so to speak. And I like that they are catering to their own and they're not trying to go where the money is, you know, in the white suburbs and all of that shit. But I really do applaud them. Now, this is a story, as we all know, is not going to make its rounds. So I'm leaving it up to y'all to share this story as far as and wide as you possibly can, because this is definitely worth sharing. More people need to be talking about it. And like I said, there's a lot of money to be made in the technology field. A lot of people sleep on that, but it's a lot of technology. There's a lot of money to be made in that field. Well, throughout the entire STEM department. If you know what that is, that's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's no wonder why when you go to certain schools or colleges, why that department is the most funded out of any other department on the campus. I know it was for the school I went to. Like, they used to throw money into that STEM department every year, and I'm talking about thousands on top of thousands of dollars. Like, they are the most heavily funded department on any college campus. You can go and look that up. They make up probably millions of dollars if they totaled it all together for every school. Every school, for the most part, has that department. But I do applaud these individuals for what they're doing, because it's not easy. You heard the guy in the video say it took him about 3 hours to install one dish. Now, I'm sure as time goes on and they grow, of course, it's probably going to, you know, the time for that is going to go down a little bit lower, because they'll probably have more people on their team to work with. So they're pretty much at a grassroots level. And I hope that they go far, and I hope that the business expands and grows into something much more greater. But more importantly, it's well noting to say that they are doing this for their own, and they're doing this for their community. So they're shutting down all the naysayers that say, what do black people do for other black people? And if you ever have someone who says something like that, just point them in the direction of this video. Because I get tired of hearing that. That's why sometimes I don't even go back and forth with people who say that, because I know it's black people out there that's doing for their own, despite what mainstream media will have to say. That's exactly why we need our own media, because more stories like these can get put out there, so we don't have to rely on mainstream media and all the negative shit they got to say about us. That's probably why they're scared that we'll have our own media, because we're going to be going against or in the opposite direction of what they tell us, and then they'll probably worried that they might lose their viewership to actually get the real news. But then again, they might not, because that news will be catered only to us. But anyway, again, kudos to these individuals right here for doing an amazing and wonderful thing. I hope that they thrive and they continue to go onward and upward. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. Have your notifications turned on.